New Hogwarts uniforms, Neville Longbottom and Draco Malfoy in character. And the question everyone wants to know, will Amanda get a good afternoon from Professor Madame Ruth? Hey wizards, how's it going? You probably noticed I'm recording somewhere different than usual, right? That's because I'm here in Chile for work. Soon, you'll find out more on my other platforms. But even being here, even being far away, even being here for work, I couldn't help but talk about the images that leaked today from the Harry Potter series. They're filming, apparently, the flying scene, right? From the first flying lesson, that scene where the incident with Neville happens. Poor guy. He ends up pushing off harder than he should on the broom and ends up falling, right? Breaking his wrist. And then Draco Malfoy grabs his Remembrall, mocks him, and Harry stands up to Draco, right? And then what does Draco do? He challenges Harry, and then Harry accepts this challenge. Then, the two of them take off on their brooms, and Harry makes that spectacular catch of the Remembrall, grabbing it just inches before it hits the ground. And when everyone thought Harry was in trouble, Professor Minerva shows up, takes him to Oliver Wood, saying that Gryffindor has a new seeker. I'm really looking forward to seeing that scene, even though it's in the movie, right? It's actually pretty similar to how it is in the book. I'm excited to see the new perspective and how it's going to be filmed, how it's going to happen, how it's going to look in the series, right? Because the difference between the movie and the book is that in the book, Harry catches the ball when he catches the Remembrall when it's just a few centimeters from the ground. In the movie, that's not how it is, right? He grabs it near the windows, right in front of Minerva's. So, there's this small difference, and I want to see if it's really going to be like that, almost on the ground. I think it'll be really cool if it is. But anyway, let's talk about the images. Because here they are. I think the first thing that caught everyone's attention is that first, Dominic McLaughlin, who's Harry, isn't wearing glasses, right? And then people get really excited, and I get it, but everyone is already like, wow, Harry isn't wearing glasses. It's because he's not in the scene here, right guys? In this picture, clearly, he's not in the scene. He's getting ready to go into the scene, right? He's there backstage. When he's in the scene, he's clearly wearing glasses. Harry's clothes, I'm not sure if they're flying robes, specifically for the flying lesson. I don't know if they're going to have that. But it looks like it's a bit different from that first image we saw of him, with the clapperboard in his hand, where he's doing a costume test, right? You can see that it even looks a bit wine-colored, a bit burgundy, if you look at it like this. And I don't know if that's because of the lighting, because of the environment, or some other factor that might have influenced it. This color looks different from what it actually is, but I believe that's just how it is. The uniform's cape, because it has a hood with details, and a very specific collar. I don't think it's, like in other cases, that cape that protects the costume, no. And then we have Dominic in this image, where he's sideways, in profile, right? And we also have an image of Lox Pratt, who is Draco Malfoy there in character. This image was funny because the first thing they asked was, what's on Draco's head? They're just hair clips, guys, simply because they use them since the actor isn't on set yet. So it's to preserve the hairstyle the actor needs to have. Because, believe it or not, man, these productions are something bizarre. So the hair has to be exactly where it's planned and all that. So they use the hair clip to keep the hairstyle perfect for when he's on set. It's just a hair clip, that's all. And then you see Draco's image, right? It has the same detail from Harry's cloak on the hood. It looks like it has a different color. Harry's has it too. Put them side by side, Eric. You'll see that Harry's has a color.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks like a plaid pattern to me.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the inside of the cloak was plaid, with the colors of the four houses. I wouldn't be surprised. It would be something different, a different design. And then people also said, oh wow, and the house crest doesn't show up at all on the uniforms, right? Really, in all the images that have come out, the crest hasn't appeared. But what I think here is that it's not like they're purposely hiding the crest or anything like that. It was really just the angle the photographer took the pictures from. Especially since these are leaked images, right? The photographer takes the picture and sells it to the newspaper.
Anyway, I think the crest itself could be the cover.
It might not have the crest of each house, because in the books, what we have, that's something created by the movies, right? Each house's animal crest appears on Hogwarts robes, but in the book, they're just plain black robes, right?
In the series, you can see they're not using a standard black robe. They've already changed it a bit, right?
Maybe they have more than one type of uniform. That's totally possible too. Totally possible. And then I believe that the crest on Harry's, since he's turned a little to the side, you can see there's a little embroidery there at chest level. Maybe it's the H for Hogwarts? Maybe it's the H for Hogwarts, because that could be it. Maybe all the uniforms have an H for Hogwarts, and they differ in the color tones. Could be, I don't know, it's just an idea. Then we also had Ron Weasley, but here it's his stunt double, okay? I really believe it's his stunt double, because he doesn't look anything like Alistair Stout. Not at all. Not at all.
He's next to an employee, and his cloak also has the same color as Harry's cloak.
If you notice, he's wearing a striped cloak over his costume to protect it. But you can see there, look, you could see the shoe, the black pants, and the cloak has the same kind of color as Harry's.
It looks kind of burgundy, so it would be really interesting if the house cloaks were slightly tinted, just a bit, toward the house color.
Like, Hufflepuff could be more of a yellow, not a bright yellow, but a more muted yellow, right? Slytherin, a really dark green, and Gryffindor too. Ravenclaws, kind of bluish like the cover from the 20s, like the one from Hogwarts, the one in Fantastic Beasts. But aren't all the houses in that blue? If Ravenclaw used that blue, it would look really cool. That's what I think. I don't know if this is specifically the flying uniform or if it's the general uniform.
It could be the flying uniform, or it could be the general uniform.
I'm not sure, but it's unlike what we saw in Harry's first image. And we also had an image of Neville Longbottom. Man, the image of Neville. He's really cute. This actor is really cute. You can see the little tie there, the shirt, and you can see that he is. Yes, he's wearing that costume cover, the one that's padded inside, really warm and all. And, man, Neville has such a pitiful little face. This boy, man, he has such a pitiful little face. And he's there with his blonde hair, kind of long like that. There's not much to say about his image because he's kind of turned to the side, and you can't really see much of his costume. But you can see the tie pretty well here, right? We can see that it's very similar to the tie from the first scene that showed up. Not the first scene, but the first image of Harry in character. And the shirt, the collar, it's a collared shirt for wearing a tie and all, and it's white. It's whiter than the ones in the Harry Potter movies. They were more of an off-white, right? But this one here is really white. And then we also had an image, and this one is one of the most interesting ones. I'm going to talk about the flight teacher, Madame Ruth. Her outfit is wild, super colorful, like really colorful. It's really different. We compare it to the movie because the movie is what we have visually, right? It's the material we've seen, right? There are, of course, illustrations and everything, but the movie is what we end up comparing the most. And the uniform she wears in the movie is really cool. But this one here is really colorful, you know? Like, it's kind of a mustard yellow. And then there are some lighter yellows, a brown, a red, a blue. It's really colorful, like that. And her outfit really looks like those parachutist suits, which, if you stop to think about it,
it makes a lot of sense because she's a flight instructor, right? So it really makes sense for them to use those elements.
I'm not sure. Maybe that's just my own bias, since it reminded me of something, right?
And she's got a whistle hanging around her neck. You can see it's a whistle, a little whistle hanging there.
I don't know if it's gold. It looks like it's gold. And her hair, really gray, swept to the side, looks really cool. These images came out today, right? The recordings were in Herefordshire.
I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce the name, because the names are kind of unusual, and a lot of names I thought I was saying right in English over in the United Kingdom, I was actually saying wrong. Like Leicester Square. I used to say Leicester Square, but it's actually Leicester, even though it's spelled Leicester.
Weird, it's different. Anyway, this one is Hertfordshire. I think you don't pronounce the D. It's Hertfordshire. And they've already filmed Goblet of Fire, scenes from the movie Goblet of Fire, there as well, at that location. Here, look, this is a picture of the place. There's even a little castle, a building there, which probably appears in the background, right? Really cool. Now, on the Daily Mail website, it says the following. Filming for Harry Potter resumed this week, when the stars of the home box office series went to the historic Ashford estate to film Quidditch scenes. In this case, flying scenes, right? They were brought to the Hertfordshire estate, where Dominic McLaughlin, the title character, Louise Brealey, Madame Root, Hoary Wilmot, Neville Longbottom, and Lox Pratt, Draco Malfoy, were seen together. The use of the location acts as if history is repeating itself, since the grounds were previously used for the 2005 film Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where the surroundings served as the backdrop for the Quidditch World Cup. The scenes in question show Harry's first experience on a broomstick, when he chases Draco, who had just stolen Neville's Remembrall. This is the first look at Madame Hooch on set, with Louise now playing the role previously held by Zoe Wanamaker in the films.
Also tagging along was Alistair Stout, who plays Ron Weasley, as they continued filming the show, which follows the same story as the book franchise.
So, here they say it's Alistair, but put it side by side. Eric, the image of Alistair that came out arriving at King's Cross. And with this Ron that's there. I don't know, I might be talking nonsense, but to me, it doesn't look like Alistair. It looks like the stunt double. What do you guys think? Tell me here. The question everyone keeps asking, will she say good afternoon to Amanda? The flight instructor will say, good afternoon, Amanda, like in the movies. Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, Amanda. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, but I don't think so. I don't think so, because that was just a simple improvisation by the actress who played the flight instructor at the time. The girl who played this Amanda has already said that, like, we were just talking backstage and all.
And then she said she was going to interact with me because she liked me, and that's what happened.
She said, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Amanda. And that's simply it. If we're planning a Good Afternoon, Amanda tribute to the movie, I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I suppose anything's possible. It's possible, but tell me, do you want a Good Afternoon, Amanda there? Tell me what you thought about these new images that came out today. And I'm like this. I'm amazed that there hasn't been a single image of Arabella Stanton dressed as Hermione so far. Man, I was really sure we were going to get a picture of her for us to see. When these images appeared, I said more might be released during the day, but I wasn't sure.
If something comes out, I won't be able to bring it because I have an appointment in exactly 2 hours to do what I came here to do.
And then I won't be able to record. But of course, I post things faster on Instagram so you can keep up. Man, I have a really beautiful view here, even though it's kind of an industrial view. Not sure if it'll get overexposed when I turn around, but let me show you how beautiful this is. It might get a bit overexposed, but look at the mountains over there, man. Look how beautiful that is. Hold on, let me turn it this way so I can control it better. Look how beautiful that is, man. Really cool, right? Maybe you're wondering, Kako, are you doing something related to Harry Potter there? Yes, it's about Harry Potter. And then maybe another question comes up. What does chili have to do with Harry Potter?
Soon, you'll find out. So, thanks guys. See you in the next episode.
Even here, even while traveling, even in the rush, I couldn't miss bringing you these updates and talking a bit about them.
And that made me even more excited, of course, for this series, even more excited for the next leaks. I want more and more to come out and leak. See you in the next episode of The Leaky Cauldron.
Thanks.